New York Governor Andrew Cuomo gave a press conference today, and he talked about the coronavirus pandemic and also broke his silence regarding the sexual harassment allegations that have been put out against him by 3 different women, 2 of whom were actually former staffers of his. Now, before we go to this video, I should note that if you watch the full statement, he begins it by, trying to be less offensive by arguing that he's in favor of women coming out and being able to air their grievances, to be able to share their thoughts and their discomforts and all of that. And then he followed it with this.
First, I fully support a woman's right to come forward. And I think it should be encouraged in every way. I now understand that I acted in a way that made people feel uncomfortable. It was unintentional, and I truly and deeply apologize for it. I feel awful about it, and frankly, I am embarrassed by it. And that's not easy to say.
And then he followed that by saying that it wasn't his intention to make anyone uncomfortable and that he did not inappropriately touch anyone. Even though we showed you a photo that was released by the 3rd woman who alleged that he made her uncomfortable. He had his hands on her face. And he had asked her if he could kiss her, and that was after he had put his hands on her lower back. And then the first former staffer who came out with sexual harassment allegations said that he had kissed her on her lips without consent. That's putting yourself on someone physically. That is touching someone inappropriately. I think that's worth noting. He is dealing with an independent investigation after he tried to appoint someone that he's close to do the investigation. Luckily, the Attorney General in New York stepped in and did not allow that to happen. So there will be an independent investigation, which I'm happy about. Letitia James is the prosecutor who's pursuing this, which is important. But that statement, I'm not good in my opinion, but John, I wanted to get your thoughts.
I think it was better than the last one from Sunday. The Sunday one was, I apologize that you in your dumbness misinterpreted my meaning, basically. This was better than that, especially, I don't know if it was honest or not, but he definitely sounded like he was on the verge of crying, which is better, I guess, for an apology, for you to have some sort of emotion other than condescension. So this is better in that respect.
He refuses to step down, by the way.
Oh, well, definitely. Yeah. No, I get that.
That's a relevant part to this story. He was asked by reporters if he's willing to step down, and he's like, no, I'm not stepping down. And by the way, there are Democrats in the media who are, pushing all these ridiculous conspiracy theories about how this is just an attempt to destroy him politically. But look, remember, I don't want anyone to forget this. What he did in making these women uncomfortable, especially given the power dynamic, as he's, was their boss with 2 of the former staffers. Like it's a problem, and I'm not in any way arguing that we should forget about that. He should certainly be investigated for that. But I also feel like everyone has forgotten about the massive scandal involving Cuomo deciding to force nursing homes to readmit elderly patients who were still recovering from coronavirus. That spread coronavirus in nursing homes. That led to a giant number of elderly people dying, contracting the virus and dying in these nursing homes. And then his administration intentionally, purposely to suppress the numbers. He covered up mass deaths. That's what he did. That alone should force him to step down. That is not a small thing, guys. That's huge. And for any Democrat who is critical of the Brian Kemps and the Ron DeSantis's and all the other Republican governors, the Greg Abbotts, all the Republican governors who have mishandled the coronavirus pandemic. How dare you not hold Cuomo accountable for what he engaged in? This is not about political labels. This is about what's right and wrong. What Cuomo did is wrong, and everyone's just forgotten about that. It's like not a big story anymore. That is a huge deal. We're talking about death. Mass deaths in the state of New York that were caused by a terrible decision that he made, and then he covered up how many people had died. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for being outraged by that, but that deserves outrage.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, and the whole thing just comes down to is he gonna get enough pressure from people that he cares about, that have some influence over his future aspirations? And I don't mean the voters. I don't think he particularly cares about that. But there's always somebody that gets to weigh in on this. Nobody steps down willingly. Nobody's like, if it would make people feel better, I'll end my political career. I don't think they generally do that, but sometimes they've stepped down. Katie Hill stepped down, Al Franken stepped down. It can happen as long as you're a Democrat. And so maybe it'll happen. I don't know. I don't think that these various iterations of apologies are really convincing anyone that he's fundamentally changed what he thinks happened and why fundamentally it was inappropriate. And that's a problem, but not necessarily a big enough problem to cause him to leave political office.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.